Tom.
Welcome to a brand new week. It's third time I've done this in the past month or so, but it's Monday. Coming to the end of the week. You know, after the beginning of the end of the vlog week after Magfest. Honestly, not much really happened after that. After I got home, I've just been really, really tired. And maybe a little bit sick since getting back from Magfest, but I think I've gotten better now. Well, not fully better, but better-ish. I think I had this a little bit at Magfest, but I had a bit of rhinitis, which is basically just that the area around your nostrils starts to flare up and inflame. But yeah. The past week, though, really just been, for the most part, a whole lot of nothing. I did stream once when I was feeling a little bit better. I was streaming the rest of Pokemon. Or speaking of Pokemon, they just announced the DLC for. They're planning on doing the Crown Tundra and another area. I can't remember what they were called, but they're adding back more Pokemon. From previous generations in a free update. Now, from what I've seen, the ability to catch them is going to be restricted to the DLC, but the ability to obtain them, you can get them from trades or by transferring your Pokemon up through Pokemon Home, which I believe they announced is coming out in February. They also announced a remake of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, the original ones, the red and blue ones, which. The one thing I didn't know about, I probably did know about it, but I didn't really think too much of it at the time, is that, the original ones, I didn't realize that for the Mystery Dungeon Red and Blue, one was a GBA game and the other one was a DS game. Which makes a lot of sense considering that considering that, a lot of games like that in that time had sort of, connectivity with Game Boy Advance games because of the Game Boy Advance slot. And Pokemon's no stranger to that. Gen 4 Pokemon, you could transfer up from Gen 3 games and get those in there. Aside from that, though, it's mostly just been lounging around, not really doing terribly much. The games I brought back from Magfest I categorized. And today I went to my local game shop with a bunch of duplicates that I had to trade those in and get something new. And honestly, the game shop that I do go to, the selection isn't that great. Selection's fine. It's just that when I'm at the point that I'm at in terms of collecting Wii U and N64 games, the selection they're going to have is all stuff that I already have. I'm actually pretty impressed to say that I'm only 30 games away from finishing N64. I'll have to look into it to see what games those are, and, if anybody wants to help out, I wouldn't be opposed. I just gotta, go through the list of them and see which ones I don't have. But anyway, I digress. What else have I done? I cleaned up the office a little bit. My bedroom is a mess, though. Cleaned up the office a little bit, making it a little more spacious. I've been realizing that I've been kind of the Elgato green screen I have doesn't offer me a lot of room to move and work around and whatnot, and that's mainly because of the angle of the camera I'm using. Even though it's a fairly narrow angle, it still doesn't cover the entirety of the Elgato green screen. So I've got the green screen really close up onto my back, and it kind of restricts my freedom of movement. So I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. I might do something about that, but for the time being, I'm not entirely sure. I might spruce up the back of my office and just go for that. One thing that I don't know, I see a lot of streamers when they kind of do their thing is that they'll have their background be dimly lit. I don't like dimly lit rooms. I'm pretty much in the kind of headspace where it's my two default light kind of options here are, daylight or none. That's really it. Which is really funny because it's I don't like, because that's true. Because like when I go to sleep, when I go to bed, I hate it when there's like any light. I don't know if I got thin eyelids or what, but like if I've got my eyes closed and there's like any amount of light like anywhere, like I can still like perceive it, and it's like just a touch brighter, and it's like gah, hate that so much. Anywho, I'm done padding out time for trying to fill in this Monday. So next week I guess we're just kind of getting back into the groove now that I've kind of recovered from the Post-Magfest stuff. I've got a lot to catch up on. In addition to vlogs, I also have to catch up on weekly tomfooleries, which I think at this point I'm technically only 2 weeks behind because the next one comes out tomorrow, but I don't think I'm getting that one done. So I'm going to say that I'm 3 weeks behind for now. So, I'm going to go ahead and start working on that. Continue with my other work and whatnot. And, I'll see you next week. It wasn't a great week. Oh, you know what I forgot to mention? The biggest thing to happen this week. I say biggest, but AGDQ was this week. So that's how I spent most of my recovery time, was just vegging on the couch watching speedruns. I also played a bunch of Pokemon as well. Just trying to complete the Pokedex and do, well, I did complete the Pokedex because when I streamed the other night, people traded me Pokemon that I needed. And also just doing like Dynamax raids and Gigantamax raids, trying to get those Gigantamax Pokemon. No, they are not Dynamax Pokemon. I'm sure there is an entire sect of the internet dedicated to that, but we will not go into that for now. Anyway, GDQ is a lot of fun to watch, as always. Because it's more than just the speedrunning, it's also like the commentary on the couch, it's the stuff that the crowd does, it's the sort of like running jokes that people make. It's just a fun week to just like watch. I was talking about before how I can't sleep when there's like light at all, but like I also can't sleep if there's like no sound. So I usually have like my laptop on playing like YouTube videos or like streams, and this past week it's been GDQ. So that generally helps me sleep as well. Anyway, so yeah, I think my favorite run from GDQ, I had a few favorite runs. The Super Metroid Impossible one for the finale was really good. A Link to the Past randomizer was really good because they included crowd control in it, much to the runner Andy's dismay. There are a few good ones too. I also need to. They usually do like the Awful Games block really late at night, so I need to go back and watch that. I only caught one game from that, and that was Animorphs, which was really funny. Awful Game block is always the best because it's part speed running, part comedy show. So now that I'm finally done padding out for time, I think I'm gonna say with confidence that I will see you all next week. This week might not have been great because how tired and possibly sick I was. Rhinitis doesn't really like do much in terms of like keeping me like my energy down. It's just that my nose hurt. So I call it kind of possibly sick. I guess I was sick, but not like indisposed, I believe is the term for it. I'll see you all next week. Later.